Welcome to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Janet Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
Welcome to the not second version, debatably second version of the look of the show. Again, we're so cropped that I don't even know how visible anything is, but we did do a couple camera swaps, some background tweaks, which was a very contentious event in the apartment where I said this is our first reorg, Isaiah. I'm sorry to tell you this, and he says no.
I still don't.
We're
think
still
it's a
getting
reorg.
settled.
Yeah. We're still getting settled. The dust hasn't settled yet. You know what I mean? Like we shook things up with the move, and we're still trying to find a home for. I feel like you need to be, you need to go without change for at least like 3 months before you can call something like a reorg. You know, if I change something 1 week and then the next week I change it again because I wasn't happy, that's not a second reorg. That's still me trying to find the first organization. You know. But maybe I'm alone. I guess. I don't know. You know, I smell a poll of the show coming up.
It could be in there. But as always, we talk about games and not games. For the game section, we'll be talking about Resident Evil 9, aka Resident Evil Requiem. We'll do general thoughts and then spoilery thoughts. And then for not games, we're going to talk about concerts. But Isaiah, is there anything on your heart and your mind and your spirit?
Oh, man.
That you want to release into the world today?
Not yet. I think next week we have a busy weekend kind of ahead of us, so I think next week will be fun to recap everything. So nothing right now.
Things are brewing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing can stop us now.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. Okay. Like, does this come out before? Yeah, it was like it kind of comes out when we go. Okay, whatever. All right. Let's get into games.
Let's talk games.
Yeah. Resident Evil 9. This feels like this came out 1 million years ago. It's actually only been out for a couple months, but the game dropped and we beat it right when we were in that window of not doing the podcast. Funnily enough, before, I feel like the last episode was like our return to doing the show consistently again. But the episode before that, people might remember, we were talking about going to the Resident Evil 9 Porsche like promo event. Like right before like the game came out and we were able to like give our thoughts. So yeah, this game came out earlier this year, February 26th. The 9th entry, kind of, not counting all the spin-off games in the Resident Evil franchise. We played it, we beat it. Isaiah, let's start with our non-spoiler thoughts, and then people can skip the spoiler part if they still have not played it. But what is your history with Resident Evil, and what did you think of 9 overall?
Sure. For me, I have a fairly light history of Resident Evil, right? I'm a big baby. I don't do horror games very well. I don't do scary games very well. That said, I know Dead Space, I go on and on about being one of my favorite games, and that is very much rooted in that Resident Evil 4 survival horror, crafting, limited inventory space kind of formula. I recently went back and played the Resident Evil 4 remake or reimagining. I don't know what you want to call it. I think remake that came out a few years ago. Loved it. It was my first time playing Resident Evil 4. I see why everyone freaking crowns it as like the king of kings when it comes to that kind of formula. And I'm sure the fact that it's a remake and, updated with niceties and graphics and everything like that probably helps a lot, I'm sure. But yeah, game is fantastic. I played 5 with a friend, and 5 is very much more action than it is horror, right? Like it's the theme in the world that it's set in, which is like, the Resident Evil world is scary, but the gameplay itself is very much dumb, fun action. So I had no problem playing that. And then I did Village, 3-4 years ago, whenever that came out. It feels like forever ago. Played Village. Also had a little bit of that, like, this creepy elements to it, right? Like the House of Bellatrix or whatever it is, the doll. Bellatrix was very no. Whatever it is,
House
Bella
of
something.
Benedito is the name of it, Isaiah.
Yeah,
sure. The game came out in 2021, which does that feel older or newer than you expected?
That feels like it should have been 2023. Like it feels older.
I agree with that. I feel like we barely played that game not that long ago. And I'm like, wow, like 5 years is kind of a long time, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Really liked that game. Had fun with it. It also had, some scary elements to it, but nothing that was too scary for me. Like I couldn't do 7, right? The one with the Baker family. I couldn't do that one.
Yep.
We tried it. You were there for me when I tried it. It was just too scary. Again, big baby. So all that to say, getting back to Resident Evil 9 Requiem, I think it walks the line very well. Like I think it is definitely, it's not as goofy and actiony as Resident Evil 5, right? But it is not as scary as 7 in the Baker family. It's like a nice village. It's like somewhere in between that for me as a big baby was totally fine to play. There were tense moments, there were scary situations, but nothing that like made me feel like I need to put the controller down and walk away, which I feel like is a good place to be.
Yeah, I enjoyed the overall like blend of horror of Resident Evil Requiem. I guess to back up or zoom out really quick. History of Resident Evil is also kind of similar. I'm more of a newcomer to the franchise. I played my first Resident Evil game with, honestly, 7 was kind of my first Resident Evil game, like of actually playing it. Like I saw 1 a lot, the GameCube remaster, like that guy, the one that hit the GameCube, whatever remake or remaster that one was. My brother Edwin had played that one, and I would watch him play it, so I'm familiar with it a little bit, but I never played it myself. I just thought it was like too scary, and I didn't also feel like doing the controls are very like stilted and stiff in that one. That's the one I'm really hoping they remake soon. I know there's been a lot of rumors about them going back to that. Really want them to, because I think it would be really fun to play it with more modern sensibilities. Yeah, played 7 with my friend Jess. That was like super scary. I still think that in a way, it's not their best, because I think RE2 Remake is probably their best game. I haven't played 4, so I'm missing a couple of the titles. But it's very, very strong, and I continuously go back to that. Even though the second half of that game, once they leave the house and they go on the boat, I think that stuff is like super mid and pretty boring. But the other stuff is so good that I'm like, I don't even care that the half the game isn't that good, because the first half was so good. And funnily enough, this feels like so many of the Resident Evils put into one. Not only is it drawing on the sensibilities of like 4, and like harkening back to 2 with why am I blanking on it? Raccoon City or whatever, like, and having these elements, and then having the blend of the horror and the action, but it also like falls into, I think, a lot of the pitfalls of modern Resident Evil, which is they're really good at making like half of a game, like, to me, in this game. And it's not that any part of this game is like necessarily bad, but even like with Village, like I think a lot of the strong stuff was early on, where it's like the what's the name of like the hot tall Lady D and her like daughters. Really fun, cool, like very like eye-catching design, some fun stuff going on with like how encounters with them progress, and like the building and like house you're in is like feels very like Resident Evil and done up and like pretty, and with these different puzzles. And then even as you like exit there are some like fun little areas you go to, like the House of Benedito that you mentioned was like so memorable. Like it was so horrifying, it was so well done. It was just like the perfect kind of like little horror snack, because it was like a pretty small section of the game, but it was like just so well done. It was like, wow, it kind of like Resident Evil Village kind of felt like a coursed meal, where like the courses after the first like 2 were kind of like, you know what I really liked though? The bread they put on the table when I first sat down. That was good, you know. That's kind of like the problem with Village, where it's like, it's a good game. Again, maybe it's a great game, I don't know. It's like, but it is kind of like a smorgasbord of things. This one feels like more thought out. Like it really has like those 2 halves where they're doing Grace and Leon in terms of characters, but also in terms of gameplay, where it's like Grace is survival horror and Leon is the action. And at first that mix is like, I think, really good. Like that first half where it's like it's mostly Grace, and then Leon comes in as like a little pressure release, and it's so good. Then they kind of flip it in the back half. Again, we'll save the bigger spoilers for later, where it is more Leon centric, and they don't really like sprinkle in Grace in the way that they sprinkled in Leon, nor would it really work in the same way, because you flip also the pressure stakes, where it's like, now we're action fun time, so sprinkling in survival horror would maybe feel weird, so like let's just not, and then like kind of do it a little at the end. And I feel like the result, it doesn't feel nearly as good to me, like that second half. And I'm just a little continuously frustrated with Capcom's struggle to make one good video game. Like, they've done it before. Like, RE2, I think, is like so even and so well done. And the remake of that is great. That's probably their best game from what I played. Never played 4. We'll get to that later. Oh, man, but yeah, so that's kind of my overall situation with it, where now that I've had time to like back up, I kind of land on like, I guess this is a great game, because like the first half is so like beyond great. Like, I think that's an amazing experience. Like, it was like so game of the year contender for me, that first half. And the second half felt like that was the rest of the game. And then I don't really know where I land as a result, but that's more of my take. For you, was it more of an even experience that you like kind of equally enjoyed the whole way through? Like, what was your like total, what's your conclusive assessment of this game?
Yeah, no, it definitely is a overall like positive experience for me. Like, I agree that, you know, the different characters kind of play very differently and things like that. But for me, that was never like, it was never like, oh, I'm going from a good section to a bad section or anything like that. It's like, oh, I'm going from a good section to a different good section. So like, I enjoyed my time, you know, all the way through, both players, both kind of like play styles and everything like that. I enjoyed the latter half as much, if not more, than the first half, just because, again,
could be me. Maybe it is a taste thing too, on like what you like in Resident Evil.
Yeah, like my roots in this horror genre is that Dead Space, is that I have an inventory, I'm managing bullets, I'm doing this, but also like I'm not like this just weak character like in Dead Space and Resident Evil 4. Like, you can fight back, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you have the bullets, if you have the weapon, your knife, your axe, or whatever it is, like, you can fight back and you can defend yourself, and that's what I really loved, and that was more towards the Leon gameplay.
So on that note, was the back half of the game actually like your favorite half, or like did you feel like it was getting
like I love the gameplay and the action of the latter half, but the like puzzle elements in that first half are still really good, where you're looking for the jewel crystal to put into this very bespoke door slot that who in their right mind would ever make a house that works this way. But, you know, like, oh, I need to find this random cube to fit in this slot to open this lever to pull this knob, and like, I love that element of the of the traditional classic like horror survival elements of Resident Evil games. You need the key cards, you need the keys to whatever. Like, I love backtracking and opening up shortcuts and doing all of that. That you do more get that in that first half, and that I think is I don't know, like fun and exciting and great in its own way, right? Like, that's different than good. I'm going to say good gunplay, because that's the one thing I don't think Resident Evil ever really does great, is like the gunplay. But like fun enemy fighting, you know what I mean? Like, there's fun situations that come in the action segments that you just don't get in the survival segments. And there's cool elements of the survival sections that you just don't get when you're deep in the action.
Yeah, it's also a tough thing for me too, because as much as I'm pretty critical of that second half, stepping back, and not that this means like, oh, the game's automatically better because of how it ranks in the franchise, but it is one of like the best Resident Evil games still. So yeah. I'm like, I guess that means it's good. Like, I feel like I end up kind of having like a work backwards assessment of this game, which I don't know if that's like a better or worse way to assess it, where I'm like, well, I guess it's better than Village, and I thought Village was like kind of pretty good, so I guess this is really good. But yeah. I guess I wish I was more excited about it. I think it's one of those things where I was so into that first half that I was like, wow, they really made like the best thing they could have made. And then I was so not as into the second half that I'm like, I don't know what they made now. So I'm just kind of sitting here still sort of confused. I mean, I think it is very, very, very likely to be in my top 10 of the year. Like, I think it is really strong in a lot of ways. It would be a great year if it wasn't, because that means there's 10 games better than Resident Evil 9, which would be awesome, because again, the start of that is really fun. for me, obviously, we kind of differ on like the conclusion. But with that being said, is there anything else you want to say before we get into like the spoiler elements of it, talking about what happens in the story, but also talking, I think, more specifically about the different mechanics and how things play out with between Leon and Grace?
I'm curious how you felt. And I know it's not exactly apples to oranges, right? The whole like Dead Space, Resident Evil thing, but like,
sure.
I'm curious if you just kind of gravitate a bit more towards the survival horror side of the Resident Evil franchise. So something like the Dead Space might, like, which does have action, but it doesn't have like dumb action. You know what I mean? It has like bespoke moments where, you know, you're fighting a boss or something like that, and like it's, you know, a lot of shooting and explosions and everything like that, but like the 85 to 90% of that game is creeping through very lonely, dimly lit corridors with flashing lights and creatures that can jump out at you. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if like if you just kind of gravitate towards that formula a lot more. I guess, are there other genres that you played that will lean one way or the other as far as like, oh yeah, no, like whenever there is horror, I enjoy this more? Or
for the horror elements, I mean, I think my horror background is pretty sparse. Like, I have Dead Space, the remake that I played that I liked a lot. I love that game. Really, like, good. That game's easily, that's like better than any, I think it's better than any Resident Evil game that's been made that I've played. I haven't played all of them. I don't know if you'd agree with that. Again, we both of us are missing Resident Evil games in our history, but yeah, I mean, Dead Space is like probably one of the best games like ever, you know, in like a top 100 type sense. I think, and to me, I think Dead Space is kind of like a really nice blend of survival horror and action. Like, it is a little more actiony than it is survival horror because you're not, you know, stealthing ever in Dead Space. You can't, you know, you just walk around and things happen. There's no hiding. There's no like, you can run past enemies, so that's like the closest you get like in that. But yeah, I do think I lean, though, more survival horror when it comes to Resident Evil, but that's mostly because, like, kind of to your point, I wouldn't necessarily say the gunplay in Resident Evil is bad, which you kind of threw out there earlier, but I'm also not a big gun person in games. Obviously, I've shot a lot in games because a lot of games have guns, but I'm usually not one to, like, have a big comment on gun feel in games. That's more of, like, your thing. But that being said, like, I feel like the action for Resident Evil is usually kind of like it's either casual, like in the way that it was for I played Resident Evil Revelations 2 or 2 Revelations 2. I forget what it's called. The co-op game that I played with Michael from Easy Allies. Like, and that's like action, but it's like chill. It's not really meant to be stupid or goofy in the way that like Leon's drop kick is, but like it's casual. I enjoy that fine. Like, it's not like, for me, it wasn't so much like with RE9, it wasn't, I don't like action, and that's why I didn't like it as much. I felt like the action got old over time, like in how they did it in 9 with like the more Leon-centric section. And I also felt like, and this is, you know, I'll try to like keep it short as we kind of enter into the more spoiler territory, but like I posted about this on Blue Sky, the game's construction to me is so much like shot chaser, you know, with that like Leon versus Grace, where it's like, oh, Grace is the shot and Leon's the chaser. The point of taking, you know, for those who don't drink, the point of taking the chaser after the shot is that it kind of levels out like the rush of like the alcohol and also the burn and the pain that you have taking a shot. It's like, oh, like this will kind of help the shot like level out. And I think it was used so well for that, and it was so smart, and it was great because it made, if you like the Leon kind of actiony stuff, obviously you're always gonna like it. I enjoy that fine. Admittedly, probably like it less than you, as we've kind of determined, but it was so much better when it was like the feeling of having like a gray section that is like intense, that is like you're thinking a lot, you know, you're getting used to the game and you're like doing the puzzles and you're avoiding the enemies and you're thinking about the bullets, and then to go to Leon and be like, I can have brain off, I'm whooping ass, felt so good. It made that feel even better than it would feel normally, which, like, you know, if you have like something in an RE4, it's like you're always in that more action vein, and that's so fun. But here it's like, it's even more, it took something fun and made it even more fun because of the context that they put it in. And I'm like, wow, they're so smart for that. This is so great. You're having your cake and you're eating it too. And then when we get to that second half, it's like Leon alone, he's not as fun as he is in, like, I didn't play all of 4. I only played the part where they're in the village. Like, I keep replaying that part over and over again. But, like, he's not as fun as he is there, because you have him in this longer section where he's doing, like, and I guess I'll just put it in now. Spoilers for the rest of the game, like, in its, construction and the narrative parts, because I think this is getting into that spoiler territory.
Formal, window opportunity, folks. Hey, we're just naturally transitioning now into a little bit of the spoiler cast. Boom. If you want to not have anything spoiled for you, if you want to, come back and listen to the segment later, here's a good time to pause, jump ahead to the next section. You've been warned.
Because I need to talk about how, bro, it was fucking boring getting those little power batteries. And I know it's, like, kind of the same construction as, like, classic Resident Evil and, like, Grace's section also, where it's, like, I'm getting the 3 gems for the door. Like, that's a very video game thing. It's a very Resident Evil thing. It's a very, whatever. So that's not inherently, like, a negative aspect of the game. But the way it was, like, it wasn't interesting going around those environments. Raccoon City was not interesting to explore. It wasn't very fun to me. Like, I think Leon is great in this game and in general, like, and I'm not even a Leon stan, and it's when you first get Leon in this game and you got the Requiem and you're like, oh my god, the gun named after the game, like, there's so many cool moments. The way they designed this game, in my opinion, I did not feel like they could sustain Leon, because when it came time for the Leon show, shit was dry. Shit was literally kind of dusty to me. Like, it was dusted and busted, and it made it so that, like, we can't just. I've had the novelty of Leon already. He came in with the helicopters on fire, and he's in the church and he's fighting, and it's like cool, exciting, like, fun set pieces, big moments, tough enemies. Now I'm just shooting zombie after zombie after zombie, and I have, like, kind of almost unlimited ammo, and I'm just going around doing things. Shit's taking forever, and I'm like, where's Grace? And there's hours and hours and hours, and there's, like, no Grace for hours, which you could argue, oh, well, narratively, she went away for a while. But, like, you guys made the game. It's not like this is not documenting real life, right? It's not like they made it so that Grace would be gone for hours. And then when Grace came back in and we had, like, back to the survival horror sections, there's some fun in those sections, but I also thought that was weaker than what we got, like, in the hospital area. So it just felt like overall, like, a much weaker version of what we got. I don't think it worked. Like, when you flip... I don't drink the beer and then take a shot. It wouldn't make any sense. And when you put Leon in and then you have, like, Grace appear, like, that doesn't hit as good as when you have Grace and then you're going to Leon. Like, the feeling I got when you're Grace and you're in the hospital and you jump into that fucking hole to go after, they call her the girl. It's like the big hulking monster that you've seen in the trailers and in the game. I was like, fuck, I don't want to go down there. It's going to be so much bullshit down there. It's going to be scary. It's going to be hard. I don't want to do it. Obviously, I do want to do it because I like the game. But, like, fuck, I don't want to do that. And then when they cut to Leon, I said, thank God Leon's here. And that's so great. That's such a fun feeling. And they don't have anything like that in the second half. And that's why I think the second half is really weak compared to the first. And it's almost they enhanced how weak it was because of how good the first half was, because it just sort of showed me that, like, this construction doesn't work. Damn, I wish they, like, kept, like, I just wish they kept doing what they were doing with that first half and extended it potentially, because it didn't, like, the flip didn't work because it just also was an uneven flip. It was basically just the Leon show, and then they're like, by the way, Grace is here at the end, and now the game is over.
I mean, yes, that is, I can totally agree that is, like, what they did. Like, that is the way that the game played out. I think just for me, it was cool getting, like, almost the two extremes kind of started merging towards the middle, right? Where at the latter half, I felt like with Leon, you are in much tighter corridors than his beginning opening. Like, as soon as he got to Raccoon City, you're kind of like exploring the city, right? Big streets, open, buildings and things like that. Like, you have room to maneuver and move around and everything like that. Whereas later on, you're going more into the Umbrella Labs, and it's like tighter corridors, more deadly enemies, the lickers, the soldiers who are there, like humans hunting you and things like that. Like so. For me, Leon had to get a little bit more stealthy and deliberate with actions, whereas Grace, she got more guns, more bullets. I was able to craft a lot more stuff. I felt like she was more powerful. She was able to like just kind of solve some of her obstacles with just violence in a way that like normally was reserved for Leon in that first half. So like she got a little bit more less scary and more actiony, and Leon got a little bit more survivory and less dumb actiony. So I don't know, maybe like for me, that kind of twist I enjoyed as the game went on. Because you're right, I do think that there's like a beauty, a art, a fun to the like, you know, that opening hospital section, right? Where you are Grace, you're sneaking around, you're weak, you need to avoid more than confront in a lot of situations. But getting the relief of, oh, Grace is not this like weak, scared little girl or anything like that. Like once you hit the Umbrella Labs, it's like, okay, no, like she can do, like she's gone through a good amount of stuff for the past, you know, couple days, I guess, in real world. I don't know what the timeline is anymore. But it's like, okay, yeah, like she's not frail. She's seen some stuff. She's done some things. She's a little bit more in her boots. That CIA training or FBI training is kind of kicking in a little bit more than you'd expect than what she had at the beginning of the game. Yeah, so I don't know. For me, it was. I agree with everything you're saying. To me, it was just a good natural progression of the two gameplays kind of meeting more towards the middle. Whereas you sound like you enjoyed when they were very separate, and that juxtaposition between the two totally makes sense.
Yeah, and I just think the design was inherently better. Like I think the hospital is just a better experience. The hospital section, that first half of the game, is a better experience than the end of the game. Like there's some stuff that is interesting. Like I really liked in the lab, you had that area with the there was like a bunch of kind of different cases to open up, and you had to like kind of get around like the liquors, and then sometimes you open a case and it's like, oh, there's another zombie in here. Like I thought that was really fun.
That was
and
really
like
good,
enjoyable. Yeah. And I really like in Resident Evil games specifically, this is true of a lot of video games, but when it's fun to really like thoroughly explore an area. Like I think that's a strength that is to Resident Evil's design. I really like your analysis of the idea of them kind of converging, because I never thought about that, but I think you're right, and it does make me kind of appreciate the last third of the game more. And the last third of the game is better than that middle part. Again, there's kind of like there's the Grace featuring Leon, there's Leon in Raccoon City, and then there's the lab, which is like some Leon, some Grace. But I think to me that also like your analysis and praise of like the back half and what it's doing structurally, to me, just also highlights how weak I think Raccoon City specifically is. And that is my number one beef. I think if you made the Raccoon City section smaller, like very small, like we're barely here, I probably would be less critical of the game overall, because I think that section is just really weak. There's very little I have to praise in that section. I like the encounter with the spider a lot. I thought that was really fun. It was scary.
That was cool. Yeah.
You know, negative shot to people with arachnophobia, because I think that sucks, and I do wish that games were better about that. It's a very common phobia. It's like, come on. But like, you know, I enjoyed that section a lot. It was very gross and fun. Other things I liked in the Leon Raccoon City section, I liked the there's like a tower that you scale that has like you can shoot like the windowed floors, and then like the zombies fall through that. I thought that was really fun and really cool, and it gave me something different to do. It also finally let me use that sniper rifle that you can never use, because there's like never an instance to use it. So like I liked that element, but that's kind of it. Like I can give you maybe the like you take over like a kind of a, it's like a missile strike thing that you can take over. Maybe I'll give you that. But like a lot of the Raccoon City stuff, I feel like was very like barren and boring, and I don't want to hear it's empty because they bombed it. Again, they made this game. Like it's not Raccoon City's not real. Like it's like, oh well, it's boring because it was bombed. It's like, okay, well then fucking put the game in a different spot. I don't know what to tell you. I thought a lot of that section was pretty like empty and barren and repetitive, and I think a lot of it was like the nostalgia fest thing that just didn't work on me, because I don't have nostalgia for those games, but two, I'll just be honest, and I know it's going to sound very very judgy and kind of cocky, I'm just not a nostalgia slut like that. Yes, I'm calling other people nostalgia sluts. Like I can be moved by a nostalgic moment. I am human. That is like, I think, a natural thing. It is not enough for me to elevate any game. There's nothing you could show me in it. Like, I'll enjoy a moment, an Easter egg here and there and things, but like, it's not gonna like make the gameplay different. Like the stuff with Mr. X or the Tyrant, if you want to not kind of make it more general, because he's like a creature, not just the Mr. It's like, oh, Mr. X is here. That's kind of weird. And then he was like gone pretty quick, and I was like, oh, why did we? What was this for? And like
he
so
had
many things.
A quick 20 minutes of fame.
Yeah, it's just like this. It kind of just felt. It was Raccoon City. Honestly, just kind of felt like a cheap trick to me a bit. And I know there's like narrative relevance in what they're doing there, but also, again, this is not a game or franchise that has a strong narrative. Like, there's a story in there, and that's fine. Like, there can be intrigue in there. It's not like I get nothing from the story. I was curious, like, can't wait to see, like, what's up with this Elpis thing. Like, that was a curiosity of mine. That was created through the narrative they constructed. So I'm not saying that the story does absolutely nothing for me, but ultimately this is not like, they're not like good at making story like that. Like, I'm here for like the horror, and I'm here for the action. Like, so it's like, I'm not going to be like, I'm willing to take worse gameplay because of what you're doing narratively, because what you're doing narratively isn't that strong either. But how did like the nostalgic elements of Raccoon City like hit with you? Did you enjoy also like having old enemies like the Lickers come back? Like, what was that like for you from like a gameplay perspective, and also like a vibes perspective, I guess?
Yeah, I definitely thought the Lickers were cool to see come back. I don't have the hugest history with a lot of the old Resident Evils, right? I got to 4 very late. I was with a friend while he played the 2 remake. I saw clips of the 3 remake. Like, I don't have a huge history with a lot of these like nostalgia pull points. That said, I did enjoy the Lickers. I thought it was cool to see Mr. X, even if I personally hated that section in the other remakes. Just because I'm not a huge fan of the like hulking unkillable enemy that just kind of like stalks you kind of mechanic. It's the worst part about Dead Space 2. Everything else I thought was fine, right? Getting back to the police station, I thought was kind of cool. Nice little nod. The fact that you go back to Raccoon City at all was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I can appreciate that. But like, it didn't move the needle for me the way that it did for people who just have a richer history with the franchise.
How did you feel about the 1v1 fights? Because that's actually another con point for me in this game. I didn't really enjoy the like square up pair, and you could say it's because I'm a parry hater, but like it felt very like weirdly Metal Gear coded to me, and like I'm not exactly loving that in Metal Gear either, but like again, Metal Gear has other stuff going for it that I do enjoy. So I didn't really like the like fight me bro 1v1 against the soldier. Against Mr. X was fine because he's kind of like in a boss construction, so I wasn't like upset about that really. But like specifically like in the lab when you're fighting like the strong soldiers, I didn't like that. Maybe it's because I wasn't good at it.
I was fine with it. It's like, I don't know. It's a different taste, right? It's them throwing a zag into the gameplay, and that, a zag is inherently always nice, and that it's like a little refreshing break from the normal actions that you're doing kind of thing. But I didn't want more of what they gave me. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, cool. It was a little break. It was a little side. That's fine. I would have been more upset if there were like 3 of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am curious though, like, almost if you could, I know this is how game design works, right? But like, if you could wave a magic wand and redistribute parts of the game, I wonder what you would choose. So like for me, for example, I would say I would cut a third of Leon's Raccoon City section, and like half, if not all, of Grace's underground section.
Wow.
For just more hospital as Grace section. Like a third wing of the hospital. There's the east wing, the west wing. Give me a south wing and cut out the other stuff. I would have been
the basement tunnel.
Nah.
You said you want to go south.
All right, north wing, man.
That's really funny. Yeah. And maybe this is like the survival horror versus action ness of us when it comes to the Resident Evil franchise. I love the tunnels. That's like one of my favorite parts of the game. I thought it was really fun. I think the hospital, I'm not going to fight that it's better than the hospital. I mean, obviously it's for the hospital because underneath, but just, there are obviously different sections of the game. Like, so I'm not going to be too nitpicky on like, it's technically a piece of the hospital, I like that section a lot because I like the puzzle of it. Of carrying, and I know it's like not the biggest head scratcher, right? It's just carry shit to other shit, but that's what Resident Evil puzzles are.
It felt more choicy to me.
It's a little choicy, but what I liked about that, and maybe you don't like this, but I like when there's kind of a mix of the natural like ocean, because it's for people who maybe like didn't play it, because obviously I'm sure there's plenty of people listening that like I'm never gonna play it, I don't care, I just want to hear about it. The construction is like you go into like these tunnels underground. You're trying to get there's like a young girl who's sort of held captive in like this facility that you're mostly like at this point helping out of like guilt, because like really you like she helped you solve a puzzle, then she got snatched and you said, oh, I gotta go like get her because like she helped me out. I'm gonna
she also has the key, so it's like, dang,
class solidarity.
Right, I guess I'll go with
you're right. Facts. No, she actually just has the key and that's why you're helping her really. But you're trying to get this little girl out of this cage. You need to open the door. To power the door, you need 3 things. You got to go find the 3 things. It's one of those like kind of mix and match where it's like ultimately you need like 3 battery packs, but to get one of the battery packs, you need to put in 2 battery packs to open this one. It's one of those type of kind of puzzle constructions. And the light, the light keeps like the they call her the girl, the big hulking monster, out of the way. Like when the lights are on, she's not pulling up. But when the lights are off, it's anyone's game. So I thought it had a fun mix of, there were times where like running into a stalking creature is just kind of like part of how they coded like the AI of the creature to move, and it's like, oh, bad luck or whatever. But sometimes it's obviously clearly scripted, and I thought it had a fun mix of like, obviously when I pull this battery out, she's gonna appear. I know they fucking coded it this way, which I do think can kind of take you out of the experience, like in defense of people that didn't like it. But I kind of liked that mix of things, like the tension of like I felt like there was more tension in that area, and less like in the hospital. At a certain point you could kind of just like, I could kill most people in the hospital as Grace. Like it wasn't really that deep at the end of the day. But in the tunnels, it was that deep because there wasn't a lot going on. There was a lot of like fun little mix-ups of like, oh, well, there's like the electricity and the water, so I can't like turn this on. Like I really liked that element of it. But I guess for you, like, what about it didn't quite work?
For me,
you just didn't like carrying the batteries around.
Yeah, like again, I liked it's probably easier for me to say what I liked about the hospital more than what I disliked about the tunnels. In the hospital, there was a sense of accomplishment when I like opened a door from the other side, and then now I could like loop around the west wing, starting from the east wing, or going up the stairs and ending up in the basement because of this tunnel, this ladder you shot down or you released or something like that, right? Like those shortcuts and mind map that you and real map that you end up like building out and discovering is very satisfying to me. Whereas in the tunnels, it was very hub and spoke, where it's like there's a central location in the tunnels, and okay, cool, I have to get these 3 batteries. Well, one is down this hall, and then I go get the battery, I come back to the hub, and then okay, I got to take this battery down this other hall to get this other, the second battery, and then I come back to the hub. Oh, guess what, there's a third hall. Okay, I got to take these 2 batteries to the third hall to get the third battery and get, come back to the hub. You put all the batteries together and then you leave, and it's like, well, that's just like not interesting level design for me. Like I don't get anything from that. It also was like inherently a little bit scarier, so I'm sure that's also part of why I just didn't enjoy it more.
Yeah, it was scary down there.
You do have to turn the lights off, and when the lights are off, there could be monsters around any corner, and that is scarier. But yeah, like it's a smaller space. There's a couple things I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did the hospital proper. Even if you were to redesign it to be a bit more maze-like and stuff like that would probably help a lot, but it probably wasn't going to move the needle enough for me to be like, oh yeah, no, I enjoyed the tunnel section.
Yeah, I think it is. The hospital proper is better because it's just like, it's bigger, it's different. They can do more with it, you know? It's like more of a real environment, while this is like their tunnels. Like, it's like, oh, well, you're going back and forth because they're fucking tunnels, you know? But like, but also they put the tunnels in there again. Like, I don't think you can just be like, well, it has to be boring because they're done, you know? But I liked it because it's like a very simple environmental puzzle. Like, I enjoy environmental puzzles, and ultimately that is what it is. But it is kind of like a tasky one, and I like the few little extras. Like, there were like some optional things you could get or pick up, but I'm like, I'm not going in there, so I'm not gonna go pick it up. The only thing I didn't like about the tunnels, and this is a little bit to your point of like it being so small, is I was expecting, okay, well, I have this puzzle where like sometimes like I need the battery to open a door to get the other battery kind of thing. I was expecting there to be more optional things to do with the batteries. Like, I was a little disappointed when I got to like, there's like a crane or something that like, oh, you got to move it to like get into the back or whatever. I thought that was going to be kind of an optional thing, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do this. Like, this is something extra I want to do. And then I was like, oh no, you have to do it.
Critical.
So then it just kind of felt like, kind of unlike the hospital, right? Not the hospital proper. Like, I was missing some of those optional fun little tasks that you could do, and I would have wanted that from the tunnels. I'm trying. A section of Grace's that I am a little more critical of, though, is her encounter with the girl, like her final encounter with the girl, like kind of the boss battle. I was just disappointed that wasn't a boss battle. And that's kind of a weird take because I am someone that hates boss battles. I don't really enjoy the stress of them. I think they're often like not that well designed. And I'm just kind of bad at them. Like in Resident Evil, it's always like shoot all the eyeballs. And it's like, I can't find the 8th eyeball. I don't know. But I was just expecting, you know, you get to this point where it's like the goal that you're presented with is like open up the ceiling so that the light can shine in and like kill her because the sun is really bright or whatever. And you're working on that, and then you get it open, and then yep, she melts, and it's like, damn, that's it. Like, especially because that section was like, it was, to me, that was like, if you didn't like the tunnels, I'm curious what you thought of that section, because it was even an even more simplistic version of the same thing. You're getting like, instead of getting a battery, you're just like you're like pulling a lever, and like one of the levers requires like a battery or some shit like that, so it's like a little bit extra. The only thing I liked about that section was you had to like do a press and hold, and sometimes like the girl would be like coming up to you and you'd have to like stutter to like be able to execute it. I thought that was fun and cute, but ultimately I thought that was very much a like, damn, this is all you had. I was expecting more.
It felt like, I have to imagine in some renditions when they were playtesting things, like that was a bit more of an action-y for Grace sequence, like a boss fight kind of thing, and then they dialed it back and said, no, Grace can't have a boss fight. Instead, she has to have a boss puzzle. And it's like, well, that is just not what it felt like it should have been to me. Again, it was short, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. Like, it was, a very 10, 15 minute section kind of thing. You go down, like you said, you flip 3 switches, and then boom, you beat her, and the story continues, kind of thing. I was more concerned with like after that the lore story ramifications of that, where Marie, you don't kill her, I guess, but you do shoot her.
Oh, you mean Emily?
Or Emily, yeah, because she transforms or whatever. Yeah. But then like, I don't know, Grace is so distraught that she just starts wandering around this basement alone, and then eventually comes across the bad guy. Like that felt like a weird lore justification to get Grace with the bad guy. Like this, again, she's growing, she's getting stronger, she's not as afraid of everything, but also she should be a little bit afraid of wandering through this building given everything that just went on. But there's a very just small minor nitpick that stood out to me, and it kind of like pulled me out of the already very fantastical world of Resident Evil.
Were you surprised when Emily transformed, or did you see that coming? Because I knew that girl was going to be a fucking monster. Like, I knew that like pretty much instantly. I was like, obviously she's gonna become a monster.
I thought it was gonna be like a bit more of a clear justification for why she transformed. Like, she transformed just because she got hurt and like lost consciousness or something like that. Like I thought she was infected. Well, I guess that was the thing. I didn't. Sick. I wasn't under the impression that she was infected. Yeah, I thought she was like.
Well, maybe not infected, but she's got some like. They like experimented on her, like Yeah, that's why she's
in my head. She was stable. Like she was special because she was stable in my head. And then randomly it was like, no, she's actually not stable. She just was healthy. And as soon as she got unhealthy, she transformed. It was like, well, that's
I don't think it's.
I thought it was going to be like she needed to inject something in her.
I don't think she got unhealthy and transformed. That's like.
Well, she was like dying. She like got shot and was like losing blood and.
I don't think that's why she transformed. I think she was weakened from. The fact that she was, I think this is like, oh, suddenly you're sneezing and now you're sick. No, the sneezing was because you were sick and that was the first symptom. And then you woke up the next day and you were sick. You know, you get that sore throat and then it's like, oh, I'm sick the next day. I feel like what you're saying is like, I don't get it. Like, she's sick because she got the sore throat. No, the sore throat was evidence that you are sick. So that's how I kind of interpreted it. Like, it's not like, oh, if she never got hurt or whatever. Like, she was like, she had been a little fucked up. Like, she was kind of out of it in the helicopter. And it's because she was like not doing well because she's like experimented on.
I mean, I'd say I was a little underwhelmed. Little girl, like, you know. But you're right. That is fair.
Yeah. Where'd you find her? In the experimentation hospital. We're out here fucking taking experiments out and hanging out with them and being like, this is just a kid, you know. So I was like waiting for her to turn, and then when she turned, I was a little surprised that she wasn't like, which I guess it takes time to evolve into like a full monster, but I thought she was gonna turn into like who I called Buff Baby Chuck or Chunk or whatever, the
two brothers,
big baby monster that like you encounter in the hospital, and then Leon as well. Really fun encounter too. I really enjoyed that creature being in the hospital. I thought she was gonna turn into that. Maybe it takes time to grow into that. She was just kind of this weird like blob thing with like a little claw hand. And then how did you feel about, I was locked in when I beat this game before you and I was able to shield you from some of like the story spoilers. When you were towards the end of the game, I was purposefully like, I'm going to stay here because I need to see you react to Leon saying, I didn't shoot her vitals. We might still be able to save her.
Yeah.
What was your thought because I said, get the fuck out of my face. What did you think when you got to that point at the end of the game?
Felt like that was a bit of a stretch. And I'm like, Leon, what are you talking about? Dude, you like shot her in the face. Like, in my head, he shot her in the face. I'm like, what do you mean you missed the vitals, dog? Like, you took her down, and then left her there to like bleed out for days. In the world, it had to have been at least hours of her just bleeding out in this dirty, decrepit basement as a transformed monster. What do you mean you didn't hit her vitals? It doesn't matter if you hit her vitals or not. So yeah, I thought that was funny. It was a very weird, just like, and then they lived happily ever after kind of like good ending.
Yeah.
So it was funny. Even the nod of like, oh, I got to teach her to read and everything like that at the end. I was like, all right. I guess she's going to live a normal life now.
Yeah. She's not blind anymore either.
Yeah. Maybe that was the part of the disease.
Somehow. You know? Yeah. Like, Leon shot the
I guess technically lupus like cures everything, so it cured her blindness. Is I guess the
Elpis
or Elpis, yeah.
Yeah, I think would you say
lupus.
Lucas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you I can't remember now because it's been a while since you beat the game. Did you know like they have you make the decision on like do you release Elpis or do you like destroy it? Did you like? Clock the obviously the right thing is to release it because it's like his last hope.
No, yeah, if nothing,
I'm with you.
No external influences, I would have destroyed it because that's what Leon, the only good guy in this entire game, has been telling me to do. Is like no matter what you do, just destroy it. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and like a lot of people, and obviously in the game, this is like what they are trying to convey, like that videotape you see where he's like, I feel guilty for all the war crimes I committed, and they're like, see, because he feels guilty and he's the one who made Elpis, you have to know Elpis is good. Why the fuck would I know that? Like, that's my take. I know haters are gonna say, you weren't listening enough when you watched that one cutscene. Like, evil guy feels bad. So that means the last thing he made was good? Why?
Yeah. That was a bit of a...
Why?
It was a bit of a stretch, you know.
It's just a lot to, like, say that I think, and again, maybe it's cope, because it's like, oh, I didn't, for sure. I gotta be honest, I just looked it up. I was like, I'm not gonna take an L. I'm gonna look this thing up before I click on anything. So that's what I did. And, you know, and you're a big like look up the answer person anyway, so I was like I can tell you anything you want to know about whatever. Yeah, I don't know, it was just like, I also don't generally like games where it's not a choice game, but then at the end I make a choice. There's very few games where I like that, because inherently it's a spoiler to talk about games that do that. I won't really like name the examples, but like there are times where I think it is really good. A lot of times I just feel like you felt like involving me out of nowhere, and it's like, bro, I wasn't involved in any of this.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing me into your shit? I don't want to do any of this.
Yeah. Don't bring me in now.
So right? I might make the wrong choice. I didn't like that. And then it's like, I don't know. It was giving fucking English class reading quiz. Like, oh, if you were actually thinking, it was big, the bread was the
soul kind of.
Like, whoa, let's not go too far. Because you're not an English major.
Oh yeah, she was his last hope. Come on now, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Yeah, and like, you know, this is different than literary analysis. Like, don't bring in all of literary analysis. It's because it's just it's based on just like, it just feels like there's not a lot there for that to me. That one thing, like, well, he feels guilty, so you should know Elpis is good. Why? And then I think it is more obvious if you select both the answers and see what she says. Then I think it's obvious. But if you just select one and then go with it, I don't think it's very like, I think you need to hear her say that it's like, yeah, it's hope, and then you might be able to whatever. I don't know. Whatever. It's Resident Evil, so like it's I don't want to say this means we shouldn't analyze or criticize the story, but it is ultimately like Resident Evil is dumb. The stories are dumb. 100%. The things that happen are dumb. Ethan's fucking 100%. Hand growing back. He's mold. He's made of mold man. I didn't shoot her vitals. I'm not going to take this shit fucking seriously, because you're not taking it seriously. And if this is you taking it seriously, I'm scared. I'm actually scared.
Wait. We got to play 5 together, and then I've never played 6. I heard 6 is really just batshit nonsense. So
5 is the one that the multiplayer is good, right? And 6 is the multiplayer.
I'm not gonna say it's good or not. I don't know that. People are going to probably be all over the fence on that. I enjoyed the multiplayer of 5. I thought it was fun. It was a great action co-op experience.
I think that one is the good one. Don't tell me anything about it. I don't want to know. I also heard that one's like really racist. Don't tell me anything about it. I want to go in and just see what's going on, because literally so many people have been like, it's good, but it's also like pretty racist. And I'm scared, but I'm ready to see what's going on in there. But I'm a little scared. So don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised by what the fuck's going on in this game.
I smell a Gangcast stream.
Yeah, I would love to play that game. Even though it's apparently really toxic, I guess. But and again, there's a chance I'm flipping 5 and 6. I don't think I am. I think I have them in the right order. But yeah, I don't know. Any other Requiem thoughts you have? I feel like I got most of what I needed to say out into the ether, I think. But any other closing thoughts or things you want to ask or bring up that we haven't talked about yet?
Not really. I'm curious. I know that every so often they'll do like DLC or additional content for these games. I'm curious to know if and what that will look like for Requiem. I probably would play it. I don't know about you. I'm interested in the story. I'm interested in Grace as a character, in Leon, and all the Opus or whatever the fuck it was. Like all the stuff that's kind of come out of it. Elpis. There's too many proper nouns. All right, and they're all dumb, made up not fantasy sounding, but like dumb, made up sounding names that I don't like. They're very Kojima coded in like the naming of things here.
I did remember. There's 2 things I want to mention. but now I'm forgetting what the first one was. But the second one was the I did like for Leon in the lab, them having him do the whole like because he's like infected essentially, like he's like dying in the game, and then Elpis like saves him or whatever. But while he's like really deteriorating, like he hits these moments where he's kind of like in his touch fuzzy get dizzy moment, you know, Yoshi's Island style, where like everything's all like messed up and he can't really aim. I thought that was really fun. They don't do it for that long, which is great, because I think if they did it for too long, it would just feel annoying. That I feel like was a great example of them doing something like different and good and for the right amount of time with Leon. So I like that element a lot. I'll try to remember what the other thing I wanted to bring up was, but yeah, that was one thing I wanted to compliment them on, because I thought it was pretty cool. For DLC, I think a lot of people think it'll be Chris or whoever, like the guy who's like, I showed up late.
Oh yeah,
that, like maybe it'll be what's going on with him. I'm like open to. I'm not a big DLC person in general, just for sake of time. Even games I like.
Sure.
It's funny enough, when the Clear Obscure DLC dropped, I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna play that. I like booted it up for like a few minutes, like that night, and then I never came back. There's just not a lot of DLC I'll play all the way through, so I don't think I'd really pull over for the Requiem DLC, but like I might. Yeah, I wish I could remember that other thing I wanted to touch on, but that was the Requiem to their Darkest Symphony. That's something they said in the marketing, which was really dumb, and it fucking wasn't. So I don't know what the
here's a good question. What do you think the next Resident Evil will be called? Because it's usually what's REX, like, you know, like, or they could go the REIO for
they're gonna go IO. I don't think they're gonna go X.
Okay.
Resident Evil rendition, or it's got to be like or like, you know, you gotta well, the
work.
IO would be like, you know, like it's like something on, like ION will be like the ending thing, and then the I and the O
Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't go that way. That makes sense. That opens up a lot of possibilities. In my head, it was always going to be like, I was going Rex, like, because I'm still
they're going to go with the X.
I'm Team X, yeah. Where it's
the X
like
is the most obvious one, but I would love for them to do a 10 instead.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, man. Good question. All right, well, people and viewers, let us know what you think. Are you Team X or Team 10?
Yeah. And now for the not game section of the show, we are going to be talking about concerts, which it feels kind of crazy that we haven't talked about this yet, given how big music is for our end of the year, Gang of the Year every year.
Yeah.
But like we always do, start with a little bit of history, a little bit of table setting. Isaiah, what's your history with concerts?
Man. So something that the audience generally probably doesn't know about me is I'm not a big concert person. I've gone to a couple concerts before, right? I think my first concert was like the Boys of Summer tour with like Bow Wow and B2K and it wasn't the Boys of Summer. Boys of Summer was like the Fall Out Boy and Wiz Khalifa, I think. I forget what the Bow Wow B2K tour was. But I think that was like my first concert. It was fun. It was great. You know, everybody, you know, a big Bow Wow fan as a kid, right? You know, a little Bow Wow. You just
Boys for Life tour? It seems like what the B2K
maybe
Bow Wow was.
That could be it. Yeah. It was like, what, early 2000s, right?
Yeah, something like that. It was, it seems like it was, well, actually.
Maybe late 90s.
Yeah, I'll dig around for it, because I'm like, are they doing this tour again? And is that what this is?
They might be. Who knows?
I'm actually kind of scared now. But I'm like, wait, is this happening now? What's happening?
I do not need to go to the current one if that's happening.
Yeah, I guess that there's a current one. So my bad. Yes, it says B2K and Bow Wow announced 2026 Boys for Life tour dates.
Oh wow!
But I don't know if that's in reference to maybe like the old tour that you did go on.
Yeah.
So,
jeez.
Yeah, whatever. The point is that was the tour you went on, and I guess They're still selling it now. I don't know.
They run it.
Hey, I can still buy. I'm still buying Mario 3 or whatever the fuck. So I guess I can't get too mad. But go on.
That was fun. I've been to I know we talked about this recently. Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige had a concert that I went to growing up. Got like nosebleed tickets for that. Didn't listen at all to Mary J. I was there purely for the Jay-Z. I had a good time. It was fun. It was fine. Been to the Boys of Summer, which again is I think the Fall Out Boy and Wiz Khalifa. I've seen Fall Out Boy twice. They actually had another tour where they opened for I think Blink 182. So I went to that. I went to a John Mayer concert randomly. Friend had extra tickets.
Okay,
that was fun. I like John Mayer.
What album was?
Continuum's an album. Continuum.
Was it for Continuum? I'm like, okay.
No. It was for I think his like one of his like newer like this is in the maybe right before the pandemic, so 2019 ish. Whatever album most recently came out around then. But he did songs from Continuum because it's like probably his biggest album ever, right? And then we went to a handful of concerts together. We went to Lupe Fiasco together. We were gonna go to a Tyler the Creator, but regretting it to this day, we pivoted and said no because we had like a trip the next day or something like that.
And we were like really tired. I think we were both tired and had to get up the next. I don't know why we were so tired, but I remember being like, do we want to will ourselves to go to this? We probably should have.
Yeah, we probably should have. We could have made it work.
I saw Tyler, so I don't feel as guilty about it.
Yeah, that's true. You later went to see Tyler.
Yeah, spoilers for my
we went to Tizo Touchdown. That was fun. That was a good time. And most recently, a Jordan Ward concert. So a handful of concerts for somebody who hates in air quotes concerts. I've been to a handful. Like 8, less than a dozen, more than 5. Kind of. I feel like it's a pretty nice number to have my own thoughts and opinions on concerts.
Yes. Why do you hate concerts? Air quotes hate. Which I appreciate you saying you hate concerts because I do think that is generally true, but there is some like wiggle room you have where you can like tolerate them, which is also like I also really want to dig into this because you love music, to be clear. It's not like you just don't like music. So what's going on with you in concerts? What's the beef there? And when did how did it develop? Because I don't think no one starts being like, I don't like this. So what happened?
I went to a Kanye concert, canceled now, but I went to the St. Pablo tour. That was awesome. Before
that's right before he started saying a lot of things, because that was the last Kanye album I listened to. And we can't spend too much time talking about.
I know.
I did love that album a lot, the Life of Pablo album. Oh God. Anyway.
I honestly, I think it was the Kanye tour where like I started to turn. Basically, I love live music. I love live renditions. I love hearing a singer use their voice as an instrument, or like a artist use their instrument to like their mastered craft kind of thing. Like I love listening to live music. What I don't love are large, rowdy crowds. And I vividly remember being at the St. Pablo tour, Life of Pablo tour, whatever you want to call it, and like halfway through, the crowd just didn't know how to behave. People were yelling and singing and dancing and moving, which like I'm not knocking you for doing the thing that you paid money. Like enjoy your dollar spent, right? Like if that's the crowd, if you're down there on the floor and y'all mosh pitting or doing whatever, by all means, cool. I'll sit up in the seat. I want to sit down. I want to have a good view of the stage. I want to listen to the live performance. But it's when the other people who couldn't or didn't want to pay to be down there in the crowd are trying to bring that rowdiness up into the seats. Like, whoa. There's a place for that, all right?
You don't want a GA energy in the seats.
Exactly. I don't want GA energy in the seats. I pay for these seats up here so that I could enjoy the performance, not so that I could hear you screaming along at the top of your lungs to this song kind of thing, right? And so I think that was really the twist. Now, thankfully, the concerts that we've been to since we've been together, have been like smaller venue. They've been like on the cusp of what I would say I enjoy. Both Tizo and Jordan Ward, just because those are the ones that immediately come to mind. And Lupe were like smaller venues. We stayed generally towards the back of those venues too, so like we weren't in the middle of the crowd right there in the front of the stage. It was a chiller experience. I was able to sit back and just kind of like enjoy the music. Like the thing I want to do is I'm a big album listener, right? So when these artists have their tours, and especially if it's like an album tour, I know this album front to back, right? I know what it sounds like. I can recite it in my head. I can hear it in my head. What I want to do is see you perform it live now. Like I want to see the contrast to what I know the album to be to how you're going to perform it here live. And I want to take that in. And if someone's sitting here screaming their head off next to me, that's interrupting my taking in of your performance. And that's what I don't like about concerts. Love live music. Don't think I love concerts anymore. But curious to know your history, before you jump into things, curious to know your history. What was your first concert? What concerts have you been to?
My first concert was unfortunately Shania Twain, the country music singer, because my mom brought me to that concert. My mom likes Shania Twain, among other artists, so I went with her. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed. I think the album that she had. I don't know if it was out at the time of the concert. It was the one where she's like in that. Let me look up her album. She's in that like tank top, like a white tank top, and it's slightly torn. Yeah, Up. I think, but it was Up the one that was out, or is that just the one I listened to a lot? I gotta look at when Up came out and then think about. It's possible, but kind of unlikely, because 2002 I was pretty young. I feel like I was older than 8, but in my mind's eye, everything happened to me 2002 to 2004. Like my whole childhood was in that window. So I'm not sure if she was touring with Up specifically, or if Up was just like a recent album she had. And I'm trying to think of, did Up have when did Man I Feel Like a Woman come out? What album was that? Anyway, of course she plays that, because she plays that everywhere, because it's like one of her biggest songs. But yeah, I did listen to the Up album a lot of my own will, so I'm not going to pretend like I hated Shania Twain. But if you know me at all, I think you know that most of what I like is not Shania Twain. I largely listen to hip hop, R&B, pop, and rock music. There's some other thing like country is very low on that list, and I haven't really hit up Shania Twain since then. But I heard that live. I don't have a lot of big memories of the performance. It was kind of like an outdoor-ish kind of venue, and we were just towards the back. I remember there was a girl in front of us, like a group of girls, and one of them got sick and threw up. And all of us were like, oh, she obviously drank too much. Not us, because I was a kid, so I didn't really have an opinion. But a lot of us were like, she drank too much and threw up. And her friends were like, she didn't drink too much. She just got sick. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure what I didn't have enough analysis skills or like alcohol skills to be able to make an assessment on that. Did you get sick? Or did you? Yeah, now I've gotten sick at concerts too. So maybe she did get sick. Because I've thrown up at a concert, not from drinking at all. I was just, I had kind of light food poisoning from a, what was it? God, what was the chain? I'm blanking on it. It was a place that sold burgers, but it wasn't a burger place. Oh,
wasn't it like Five Guys or something?
It wasn't Five Guys. It was something like worse than that, like whacker. It was like Dairy Queen or something like that. It was like something like that kind of thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that was my first concert, technically. It's hard to remember the timeline of concerts that I have perfectly, but I went to concerts a lot in high school. A lot. I went to a lot. I went to Lollapalooza twice, maybe 3 times. Yeah, I guess
it's right there for you, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, lived there for like a large part of my life. And yeah, I went to Lollapalooza definitely at least twice. I'm not sure if we went 3 times. It was awesome. I also saw some other shows as well. I saw Muse when they were on tour. I forget what album they were on tour for. I saw like My Chemical Romance when they did one of their tours, like heavily, if not exclusively, playing the Black Parade. Who else did I see like more individually? Even after high school, I did go to some concerts as well. Like when I was like post college grad, I saw Kendrick live when he did his To Pimp a Butterfly. It was at a small venue as well, actually. That's pretty cool. He was already doing stadiums, but he just like happened do like a smaller show. I don't really know why, but that was great. Like he did great. It was a wonderful performance. And I'm sure I'm missing like a lot of other like rock ones. It was primarily rock at the time. I didn't see hip hop live for a really, really, really long time, despite like loving hip hop. My brother got to go to, there was like this awesome, I don't know if they still do it, but there was this festival kind of concert called Rock the Bells that had like a bunch of hip hop artists on it. And it was like so cool, but I was like too young to go at the time. Like he had to kind of go without me because I was just like too young. I saw Matt and Kim live at like their own like tour on top of seeing them, I think probably at Lala as well. So yeah, I went to concerts all the time. And this is gonna make me sound a million years old, but concerts, I know like inflation and da-da-da, like they, like $100 then, $80 then is different than what it would be now, like and way heavier and da-da-da, but you could get floor tickets for $80 or $100. You would never have to pay more for floor, even resale, like $80 or $100. So I always went GA. I loved being in the crowd. I'm the opposite of you. I love the crowd. I'm jumping up and down, 16, 17, 18, like in the mix, and I loved it. But I will say, to your point, I don't like, and I don't think anyone likes screechers. Like I sing along when I'm at shows a lot of times because, like that's what you're like there and you're like singing along, but they're singing along and then there's like screaming where it's like you're louder than the artist kind of vibe. And that I think is too much. But the good news about screechers is they can't maintain for the entire show for the most part.
That's true. They can't sustain the whole show.
They get tired. So I have been to show, in the modern era, I did see, last year I went to Tyler's Chromacopia tour, which was awesome. And I was a little worried because we were like in the seated section because again, GA these days is like a lot of money. So I don't know if I would be back down in GA for a big show. But we did have some like kind of screamers near us and I was a little worried. I'm like, I hope they're not doing this the whole time, bro. I ain't trying to hear all this. And yeah, they got tired, so whatever. I'm like, great, we can continue on. So and I know concert etiquette's been a big problem post-pandemic, especially post-pandemic, combined with like people that just aren't used to attending concerts and don't like understand concert etiquette or whatever, combined with also I think like the rise of social media. Not to be a like anti-social media person, I'm very pro social media. I use it a lot. I've built my career on it. I like it. But, there is the like people using the flash to record themselves. It's like people can be kind of like a little obnoxious with it at times, But yeah, I've gone to a lot of shows. I've gone to less shows as like an adult, like post college, but I'm trying to pick it up more, even though it can be quite expensive because I love music and I'm like, I want to see more live shows. And then great problem to have, but like, everybody comes to LA. So it's like there's so many, like if you like music and you listen to me and you're following music, the temptation's insane. There's like everybody comes here. And not only do they come here, but and I know this is gonna sound cocky, but it's genuinely true. You can look at stuff. People do it up more when they come to LA. They take and I'm not saying they're not doing good performances in other places. They totally are, but there's a weight to LA, like of the you gotta bring it, and also there's like a more likelihood that they're bringing out like fun guests and stuff because they like LA and other big places kind of get like the best of a lot of artists. Like that just is the case. So yeah, so it's really fun seeing shows here like for that reason as well. Yeah, so I've really been enjoying it. I want to go to more shows, and I'm trying to kind of like find that middle ground of us going to Tizo, us going to Lupe. Those are like much more affordable shows because they are smaller venues. Like it's a lot more expensive when you're going to see people at Crypto, at SoFi, than seeing someone at, El Rey or the Fonda. Like those tickets are only ever going to be so expensive. Even if they're resaled like tickets, like they're not that bad. And by that I mean they're like 40, 50, 60, $80 instead of like hundreds of dollars kind of thing. Yeah, so I love concerts. We kind of had a flip in a way where it's not that I'm anti-GA, it's just so expensive and it is kind of like a lot. And you do have to stand there for a long time and stuff. You got to get up early, make sure you don't got to go to the bathroom because you got to be down there. It's a bit more involved and way more expensive than it used to be. So for that reason, I've opened up to like, I'm going to have to just be in the seats which is still like fine and fun. I still enjoy it. Usually I am standing in the seats because you kind of have to. Everyone stands up, so it's like, well, I'm not going to see anything if I'm not standing up. And I'm short, so I'm super not going to see anything. But also the privilege of being in the seats is you can see more. Like when I was in GA, I'm 5 feet tall, so I don't really see anybody. But I'm also used to that, and I'm fine with that. That's the thing. We had that conversation when we were at Jordan Ward where it's like people being like, oh, I need to see in my spot and my angle. If it were all the same like level, I'm probably not going to see, and that's fine. It's like a musical performance, and if you're in a big enough venue, they have like screens and stuff, so it's like whatever. Yeah, but that's my history. So was really heavy into it in my like high school, college years. Shit's gotten way expensive, but I'm trying to like kind of pick it back up because I do love music so much that it only makes sense that like I should start seeing some of these people live. Like this is insane to like go and not be seeing more live music. So that's where I'm at. There's not a lot I dislike about concerts, kind of in contrast to you. The only thing I guess I kind of dislike is that it's expensive. Like, because you not only do you have the ticket, but there's also the parking. There's also like, are you going to get, if you get a drink there.
You want a drink? Yeah.
That's another $20, which you could just not drink. But so yeah, it's those are the, I guess like the cons or whatever. But yeah, like I would love to keep going to more stuff. I have never gone to Coachella. I would like to go one day, but it's really, really expensive, and I'd want to go in a more bougie venue because I don't want to do the car camping, so that makes it even more expensive. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm also interested in, I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but there's other festivals that happen too, like Tyler has his Camp Flogna. I think that could be fun. There's also, I forget the name of it, but there's a Spanish music one that happens like in Dodger Stadium that I think could be really fun to go to at some point as well.
That sounds cool.
So yeah, just gonna try to dig around and check out some of those things. So with us kind of in a way we've sort of converged. I've gotten to know like your sensibilities for music as well. So I kind of only volley music at you when I think it's something that you would enjoy. And then I'm also kind of like constantly like auditing a scenario where like I saw Tyler with Edwin because I think I don't know if I ran it by you or if I just kind of like went with him already like by default, but I wasn't really sure if you'd like it because it is more concert-y, because it was at like it was at Crypto Arena, which is bigger than like the small venues that you and I've gone to. I think you would have liked it, but we'll have to ease you into like, how do you feel about these different venues and what's the tipping point? Like there's some stuff that I know like you wouldn't like I'm considering, I probably won't because it's only in a couple of weeks. I don't know if I want to scrape together the money for it, but Baby Keem's performing. I know you're not going to like that. And I would never invite you to it. I know you're going to hate it because Baby Keem's crowd's rowdy. It's very, Tyler's can be rowdy.
I hate that though because I love Baby
Keem's is very rowdy. But I think I don't know if I'm going because it's like, I'd have to do it very quickly. But that's a show I know you wouldn't want to go to. But what are the artists on your like concert bucket list where if they do tour you're gonna like you'd pop up and want to do it, or ones where you're like, I definitely want to make sure I see these artists live at some point?
It kind of sucks in that like a lot of the artists I like are popular, and so like most of the artists that I would like to see live are only going to be at like a crypto and up kind of situation, right? Maybe like the Intuit Dome and up, or something like that. Whereas like, I would love to see Billie. I love to see Billie Eilish. I love Billie Eilish. Love her music. Love her albums. I want to see her live. But like, I see some of the videos of her tours and concerts, and it's like, that might be too nuts for me. You know what I mean? Like that might be a little bit too, maybe I can get away with being higher up or something like that. But like it'll be iffy. It's a flip of the coin of whether I would enjoy my time or not. Or also artists who like, I mean, will they ever perform and go on a tour again? Probably, but is my time liking them past its prime? Also probably. Adele. I loved Adele. I love Adele's music. I love her older music at least. I love like 25, 21, 19. I enjoyed. I would gone to see it. But like if she comes out with another like 33 album or something like that, it's like I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And I don't know if, and she's so big now too that like I'm sure she would also be in like these kind of bigger arenas. And I do think the crowd would probably be a little bit better for someone like an Adele compared to like a Billie Eilish. But like am I going to enjoy the music then anymore? You know what I mean? Like it's
we should have went to her Vegas residency. That's what we should have done.
I guess, yeah, but
that would have been fun.
That I actually would be curious to know, like, what is the crowd like at a Vegas
I think it's a little
concert?
more. Obviously, people can comment if they have experience with it. I feel like it's a little bit more like theatery because like usually those residencies are more like it's more of a show than a concert.
That's what I get. Yeah.
So I don't think it's like there's not really a GA. I think even at those shows they're like in kind of like an auditorium-y setting kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like that maybe would have worked for you.
That could be dope. I could totally get down with that. I also wonder if there's like for some artists, I have to imagine there are some artists that I know that their spectacle is the whole point of their performance, where like,
yeah,
I kind of have to just get over the crowds thing, the loud music thing, because that is like what they do. Like, obviously I don't listen to them now and they don't make music anymore, but like I heard Black Eyed Peas was like great performers, where like, even if you don't like the music, go to a Black Eyed Peas concert if you could, just to like see them perform and do the, the dances, the action, the crowd work, the everything on stage, like is a spectacle there. So maybe I'm sure there's probably some new age artists or new age artists that like that. Chromacopia is probably one, like that teeters on the, I think, edge of like, this is like a performance for an album. It's not a performance of the music of the album, if that makes any sense. Even though, like, obviously you are performing the music. I mean, you tell me you went,
Yeah, no, I thought it was like perfectly both. I get what you're saying, where it's like there are artists where it's more about the spectacle, like not to be shady, because I haven't gone to see her live, but I feel like Sabrina is one of those artists where like she does a lot of pageantry, and I think that is fun and cool and even impressive. Like, I'm not trying to take away from her, but I have not seen her perform and been like, wow, I love how she performed the song for the most part. Like, she's not really doing anything too different with the song. It's just like there's cars and then there's water and there's like a dance thing and there's a guest, and that's fun. But I want to hear, like, I'm with you, I want to hear like, wow, what this did sonically was cool. I think Tyler probably leans more on the performance than the spectacle, I would say, generally, because he's alone. He doesn't have dancers. He doesn't have any of that. But he's still, like, he's doing a show. Like, he's up there. He's dancing. He's moving. He's also, like, performing the song in ways that, like, he didn't before. So, like, there's, I think I still have the clip on my phone. Like, the way he did, I'm trying to think of what song it is, so I don't think I'll be able to remember it, like, offhand. But he did, like, one of his songs a cappella, and it was just like, so I just thought I was dead that he did. And like, he did it a cappella and really, really slowly, and it was amazing, where he was like, it's funny, I kind of can't read most of Tyler's lyrics, because but like, it's like he's like breaking it down bar for bar. He's like, everything I said back then, I'll do it again. And then like, when the way he yelled, like thought I was dead, was like wild. It was so good. It was like he was just like killing it. He was out there sweating. Like, he did a great job, I think. And obviously with every concert, there's like there's downtime in a way there's not in the album, because they need to rest to be able to do the rest of the performance. But even his downtime stuff was like really cool, where he like had this little set, and it was like a living room, and he was going through his discography. It's funny because you weren't like as like vividly watching it, but me and my brother watched Bieber's Coachella performance that was like live streamed, and it was like the same format as like what Bieber did, with instead of the YouTube videos, he just did it with like records. Like, he had like vinyl, and he'd like put it on the player, and obviously it's like, not actually playing from the record player, but like that was like the vibe he did. And he also threw in other albums that he liked that were so yeah, I thought it was like really, really good and strong. But I'm like you in that way too. I like to go to artists where I'm like, I think you have really like, the potential to really perform well, kind of thing, and that's what I lean on more than like, you have like a big dance break and a lot of like lighting. Like, I want to feel like I'm getting something that I can't get at home. and I can't get just from watching it.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
I very much like I can't get this at home. I can only get this here in person. Let me like do it up to like get that.
Yeah.
You're also a big like, I'm not gonna say swag person, but like, I guess, is it fair to say swag person? Like, you enjoy a good concert T-shirt or hoodie or bag or something, I know, like, you've mentioned you wish you got things at some of the concerts we went to.
A little bit, yeah. Like, I wish, I kind of regret not getting that Jordan Ward hoodie because I thought, I can probably just buy it online later. And it's like, I don't think he sells it online, actually. I think it's only at the show. I'm like, damn. Because I really liked, specifically, too, because I really liked his performance. He did, I think his latest album is called Backward, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the blue one. He did a great job. Like, I didn't think he was going to do bad. Like, I got the tickets because I like the album. I like him as an artist. You like him, so I thought it'd be a fun thing for us to do together. And I'm like, and if Isaiah doesn't want to go, I'll just take Edwin. So I'm like, I wasn't too worried about finding someone to go with me to Jordan Ward. But yeah, like, and it was just also, we had like such a good time at that concert that it would have been nice to have like the memory of it through like the hoodie. But I'm also not a big pullover hoodie person. So I was worried, and it was expensive. So I was like, I don't know if it, but I look around, and if it's a nice enough like piece of merch, I'm open to getting it. But I don't get a lot of merch at shows because I don't like holding it the whole time I'm there and things like that. But
that's fair.
Yeah, but I always am taking a look, but I'm not always making a purchase because there's also like the clothes aspect of it. Like, do I like how it looks and all of this?
It's true. That's fair.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's great, and I like concerts a lot too. For the same reason that I go to the gym, which it's like, this doesn't make any sense at first, but walk with me for a second. It's like the specificity of I'm there for that thing. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not like, perfect. It's not like I'm never looking at my phone when I'm at a concert. Sometimes I do, but I'm actively listening in a way that I don't often do at home. I do want to bring that more into my home listening practice, especially with me having my like little AirPod Maxes that I got from Danica. Shout out to Danica who sent me these AirPods. It's like, I'm like, yeah, I just want to sit and like listen to an album. Like, and I've done that before in my life. I did that a lot as a kid. I did it a little bit when me and Edwin were doing our like E&J hip hop blog project, and we'd listen to albums and like review them and stuff. But like, I want to do that a little bit more, and I like the intentionality of being at a space. It's the same reason I like doing anything live. Like, when I'm watching a soccer game in real life, I'm paying more attention than I am at home. Like, I'm just always more locked in when it's live because it's different. It's a different atmosphere. So I like that element a lot of the concert as well. It's like, now this is an activity in a way that it isn't when we're like not at the show.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Is there like you mentioned like price, you mentioned kind of like availability. Is there an artist that's on your bucket list where you're like, I want to go see them at any cost, at any opportunity? The next time they go on tour, I am going to do whatever I can in my power to go see them, kind of thing.
There's probably not an at any cost because it's like some of them costs get a lot. But what came to mind for me, Mitski's one. She actually did just come here and I didn't see her. But that is because I thought like the cost was too much money and not because she's not like worth that amount, but it was just kind of an unfortunate circumstance. She was at like a high school auditorium, which obviously is like her choice. I'm guessing. I'm sure she could have got like, even if she was working a smaller venue, she could have been at like El Rey, I'm sure. I think she just wanted to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like I didn't want to pay like, especially because like, I mean, I could have obviously asked you. I'm sure you would have been like, if I was like, this is really important to me, I'm sure you would have paid for it, even all of it if I really wanted you to. But like, I didn't want, I'm like, I'm going to buy 2 tickets for this. And this is really a lot of money. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I kind of got like backed into a weird corner with the Mitski thing where I'm like, I would love to see her perform. I think she seems like a great performer from the clips I've seen. I like a lot of her albums. But I'm like, this is like this, because the venue's so small, like the price got just really expensive because the resale price got like crazy where it was like, I don't know. I don't remember it offhand, but it was definitely over $100, maybe like 200. And it's like, okay, I'm getting 2 tickets. It's like $400. Like,
yeah, for a high school auditorium performance.
Mitski, I don't know, girl. Like, I couldn't do it. I've been loving Beyonce's albums lately. I think the next time she goes on tour, I'm gonna have to go because I don't want to like because the thing is with like an artist to artist, it's like you said, you might like some albums more than others. I need to start. I probably should have already gone to see Beyonce, but Beyonce's really expensive, rightfully so. She's a really great artist and does like a huge production and all of that. But I think that's one on my list where it's like it's probably time to pull the trigger. How many tours does Beyonce have left? I hope a lot, but I don't know. So let me start knocking these out.
Any tour could be her last tour, you know.
I don't think I'm that far, but she's kind of like it's like the console generations with Beyonce, where it's like, I know we got one more. I don't know if we got like 5 more, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. So Beyonce's on there. There's not a lot where it's like cost doesn't matter because I'm kind of always factoring in cost. I got lucky in that I was I really like Lily Allen's last album, as I've talked about a lot during Gang of the Year. She had that problem also where she was at like a really small venue. It wasn't as small as like the high school auditorium, but it was like a theater, like a tiny like theater. And I was like, I'm not paying this. This is like, it was like a lot of money. It was like, again, in that hundreds range. She luckily added more tour dates because of the demand. And now she's going to be at the Keo Forum. So I'm really glad that I was like, that's a lot of money. I don't think that's too much. And I was rewarded for waiting because she's going to be at the Keo Forum. It's a bigger venue. So the tickets are cheaper. Great. I'm going to see her. So that's awesome. So, I'm trying to think, who do I have? It's not like this deep yet, but I do kind of regret not seeing Cardi on tour because her Little Miss Drama. I feel like
that'd be a fun one.
Her Little Miss Drama, the clips I've been seeing, I feel like she's also really improved as a performer. Her last tour, I saw some of the clips and I felt like her vocals were a little rough to me, but I feel like she's really grown as her having voice control. So I'm like, damn, maybe I should have gone. So she's a little bit on my radar, but I'm not really sure. I don't have any I'm gonna drop everything, but I have people that I'm kind of watching out for. I am interested in Justin Bieber if he would tour with Swag. That would be really fun. I'm kind of newer to Bieber. Obviously, Bieber's been in my life forever because he's been an artist forever, but I haven't really the Swag album's the first one that I really listened to and really liked, and I loved his Coachella performance. I would love to potentially see him live. Yeah, just couple odds and ends more than a I'm dropping everything kind of thing. I think Beyonce is the big answer for me here. Yeah, with my eye on some other artists, it'd be good to see Kendrick again. I haven't seen him in a long time, and
that'd be cool.
His performance has really grown since then, and his discography's really grown. So he's on my list, but there's not too many any dollar amount because that can get crazy. But I do need to start, I think, going into the YNAB, which we talked about the YNAB before, our budgeting app. And I'm I need to make a little concert section. I don't want to just be in fun money. I want to really start putting money away and making it in my repertoire. But on that note too, there's lots of more affordable ways to see live music. I just went to the last night, the John Coltrane 100th birthday performance they did at the Grammy Museum. In the Grammy Museum, something I've been interested in dipping into more. I know they have an annual membership. I'm going to relook at what you get from that because there are some really cool, also very coded performances at the Grammy Museum, because the Grammy Museum, it's kind of giving more of a tiny desk setup. When they have big artists like Olivia's gone there, and I know you love Olivia Rodrigo, and it's very intimate. And it's not at all a route, it's a different kind of thing. And I'm down for both. I don't really necessarily prefer one over the other inherently, but I feel that'd be a good one where it's a bit more affordable, coded, so you and I could go. So that might be an avenue that I look into a little bit, alongside just the college that did the Coltrane thing was, I think it was USC. Yeah. And they have free jazz stuff every Monday that you could just go to. Cool. And it's I should maybe start hitting up just other stuff that's different and smaller and just a way to get more live music. I know the LACMA does live music in the summertime and stuff like that. So I also want to expand it beyond just the big artists and kind of weaving in music in other ways that could be fun. So something to work on.
Yeah. I forgot that. You're right. I feel Olivia might actually probably be having a tour soon because she's dropping an album soon. Yeah.
Would you want to go to that, or is that?
I think it would depend on the venue, right?
She's going to be
also kind of depends on the album. It'd be great if I like the album.
Yeah. She was somewhere pretty big last time. She's also really improved as a performer. I've seen clips from her, was it Sour was her first album? That Sour tour, I was a little I don't know. I feel she's gotten a lot better as a vocalist.
That's so interesting that you'll look up clips from tours to see
I don't look it up.
How it...
I just see it on my algorithm.
Okay. right.
And then I judge because I'm judgy. So I'm like, like, and sometimes I see stuff, I'm like, wow, like I really want to be there. But then sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, this isn't very good. Like it's just doesn't sound good. And granted, clips are always different than like what you can get live anyway. Like it's not going to be one-to-one, especially off people's phones and stuff. But also, I've seen stuff on people's phones where I'm like, wow, this is really good. So I'm like, I don't think it's just the phone, girl. I feel like it's a little. But yeah, I think she's really improved throughout, which makes sense. She keeps touring. It's also really hard to be an artist like her, where her first album warrants like a really big venue and a really big tour, because you don't get to like grow and get the reps that like usually like an artist grows with their venue. So it's like, yeah, like Chaperone probably wasn't performing as like strongly like vocally and performance wise when she was like first starting out, and now she's blown up and it's kind of, she's like kind of scaled in a nice way. Olivia didn't have that. It's a good problem to have, but like Olivia just was huge. So it's like, well, I hope you're good at doing a stadium tour all of a sudden, because that's the job. And I don't think she like was that good from what I saw. I could be wrong, but yeah, I feel like she's been growing a lot. I'll be curious how her next album is. And I think also I'm with Olivia, it's kind of like outside the concert of it all, I'm hoping for like more from her. I want like a more dynamic sound. I want more intriguing stuff. And I also want more interesting content. Obviously, she literally is like a kid, you know, when she started, like she was like, you know, college student age. So she, you know, is going to mature over time. Like I'm older than her. So I'm not like, I'm not going to be mad that I don't relate to like a teenage girl singing about being a teenage girl. But at the same time, like for what I'm looking for in music, it's like, yeah, like I kind of want like, I just want some shakeups, you know. I want more mature writing, but I also want a more mature and dynamic sound. So I'm intrigued by this album. But also, Olivia's one of those weird ones where, much like Sabrina, it's like I don't really even like the albums that much, but it's very easy listening, where I end up like gaining a lot of time. I'll keep going back to these albums because they're just very like kind of pleasing and catchy to listen to. So there's definitely like stuff there. I just want like I want more. But yeah, we'll see how her next album is. But I'll go with you to Olivia. The line for the drink's going to be short because her audience is young, and also kids don't drink these days. So hell yeah. I'll be the oldest one at the Olivia Rodrigo concert. I don't mind. Easy peasy for me. You know, no parent, no guardian. I'll go. Yeah,
oldest and one of the shortest, because all these kids are also huge now.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I know. Adding to your list too. I know Frank Ocean. You told me off content. Man. You said you'd pay anything to see him, like literally almost anything. Obviously, everyone has their number that's too high.
And I really don't know how many.
And it sucks because he's so bad Beyonce not performing too. He does not care, and that's why he doesn't tour. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to. If he tried though, he'd be great. He's great.
Well, I feel like I might luck out in that if Frank, first of all, if he even makes more music again, his tour would probably be, it would be harder to get, because I feel like he would maybe do a more low key thing, like. His music isn't really big, you know, arena filling music. It's like the smaller venue.
He's a huge artist. Like I don't think there's a world that he's not minimum a crypto.
I was saying I don't think he's doing like he's a huge artist, but he's not doing like, I don't think he's doing crypto. You know what I mean? Like, I
think he's doing SoFi if he went on tour.
No, he's definitely not doing SoFi.
He's huge.
SoFi is so big.
And he doesn't perform. So I do think, but also I just don't think he's going to perform. But I get what you mean. You're like, oh, he's like, he doesn't really want to perform. So maybe he'll come to like a shy little tiny venue. I think he's either just not performing or he's like he's just, it's hard to conceptualize because I'm like, the man is simply not going to perform, but he's a huge artist. I don't think he would be at a small venue unless he just decided I'm doing one show. It's tiny. And that's just, I'm not doing a tour. That could happen, but yeah.
I tell you what though, I drop money to see Frank Ocean because this man might really just be done at any moment.
Yeah,
we haven't even heard hints of him making more music. Like
the fact that he's still one of your top artists and he hasn't made music in like forever is like crazy. But that is how the Frank Ocean fan goes. Which I love Frank Ocean too, but not like you. Yeah, which that's fine. Like we all have our favorites, and he's very talented. Yeah, I guess any other concert thoughts? Are there things that you want to do concert wise? Are you trying to break out of your hating people bubble. I do think over time, like, because the crowds thing is not just a concert thing for you, it's like an everything thing for you. And since we've been together, I feel like you have softened on your disdain towards crowds, because you would have like the type of disdain towards crowds where it's like, if someone brushes against me, the day is done, like, kind of thing. Not like totally, because you have
bad.
Yes, and you generally have like a good attitude. So like, I have to clarify, like, Isaiah being annoyed is like 1/16 me being annoyed. Like, you're not really out, because you're not like a lash out, fuss, kick and scream kind of person. But I know you, and I know how you are, and I know your sensibility, and I can tell when you're not having a good time. And like, that's more where it's like you don't like it, which is fair. Who likes crowds? But like, you like actively, like, it's a, if you were a sim, it's like your meter's going down when we're in those big crowds at like a fair or like a theme park or whatever. And I feel like, I don't know if it's because you've been exposed to more crowded things, like by way of, I don't know, sometimes I'm at
therapy.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm at a situation where I'm in a crowd and you're just like gonna be with me, and if you've kind of lightened up over that over the years. But curious if that's extended to like a willingness to go to more like potentially rowdy shows, or if you're like, nah, stay over here.
So I think one interest I have is doing a bit more of like an in-between, or at least making an effort to do more like in-between things. So like, I know we've gone to like a couple of our friends will do improv, right? And it's like, okay, cool. Like that's a concert without music. You know what I mean? It's like you're going to a venue, you're sitting down, there's people performing. It's just they're not performing music.
But on that note, that D&D thing you went to, you were not into it.
That was a crowd thing. That crowd was too much. That is?
Because I don't actually think did we talk about this on the show? I don't remember if we did.
I don't know.
But maybe we didn't.
Yeah, it must have been, I don't know, over a year ago now at this point or something. We went to they did a Dimension 20 live here in LA at, what was that venue?
The Hollywood Bowl.
Yes, the Hollywood Bowl. Very, very, sizable outdoor venue. Which is really cool. I'd never been to Hollywood Bowl before, so it was cool getting to see that venue and take it all in and everything like that. But it was a live D&D session, right? It was like a Dimension 20 sort of one-shot kind of adventure that they did. And I'm going to say made the mistake of getting tickets and like, I thought that if I sat high enough, it's a big enough venue that I'll be able to see pretty well. And if I sit high enough, all the crazy Dimension 20 fans are going to be closer to the stage. And I was wrong on both fronts. Not only could I not really see anything being high up where we were, but also all the other broke bitches were up there with us, screaming, yelling, having a grand old time and excited, and just as energized as like what I could see in the crowds below. So I did not have a very good time at all. I thought the cast and crew obviously were very good at what they do and the content that they make. But like the crowd experience of being there was not something I enjoyed at all. It was expensive for like snacks and drinks and stuff. It was echoey where we were. Like maybe music is different. Maybe I feel like music might actually even be a little bit worse. But like the delay between what visually I see and then like it hitting a speaker and then bouncing up to us and then echoing all around where we sat, it wasn't very good. I couldn't see anything because we were so far up, so I relied on watching the screens that they had. But the screens are also like near the stage and they're big, but they're still screens, and it's like I gotta like squint and try and see. It was a disaster of a time. Going back, I would absolutely not do it. Would not do that again. 0 out of 10 would not do. Don't even recommend really for people who are like
crazy. But like, yeah, I mean, I didn't have as negative a reaction to it, but I agreed that it like, I don't like, this is like kind of a funny thing. I don't like hearing nerds enjoy themselves. And I'll just say that on record. I don't like going to the Marvel movie and everyone cheers when Captain America does.
I enjoy that.
I think that's
within reason.
Say, shut the fuck up, bitch. I am watching a movie. Now, For the D&D thing, I'm not mad that people are doing that because it is like kind of a concertification of D&D. So, and I also don't have a lot of D&D expectations because I'm kind of like still an outsider to D&D in a lot of ways. But funnily enough, like all my D&D stuff is like what the experiences like a super fan would have, but I like continuously don't actually know much. So it's really funny where it's like, I don't know much about D&D. I've played a D&D session that was recorded for content. I'm like, yep, my first D&D session was a recorded piece of content for like PvP Bang, which I'm not mad at that, but it's just a funny thing. And then it's like, okay, so technically the first D&D thing I watched, I think, was the Min-Max one. So it's like, I had watched D&D before. But then it's like, oh, I'm watching Dimension 20 for the first time. I'm watching them live at the Hollywood Bowl. It's like, oh. And then it's, so I have like a lot of extreme funny things for D&D that I've like happen to have is like my only experiences are like I only consume it like live or in a really big venue. It's like very strange. But yeah, like I don't really like, I don't know. I don't like the like, I don't know. I just, it's not something that I don't feel the need to participate in that way of being like, woohoo. So I'm just like kind of, I'm not annoyed by people doing that, but it's just like not something that like I'm excited to participate in, thus I don't like really need it. I definitely want to go back to the Hollywood Bowl for music. I do hear that it's good like audio wise for that, so I think that'll be fine. But also I think you'd like it for music. Obviously we'll try to sit lower just so that we can assess what's down below. But I think you'd like it because it isn't a like rowdy thing at all. A lot of people actually are kind of critical of the Hollywood Bowl experience because they're like, the audience is so dead, like, which I do think in some contexts, a dead audience is like awkward. I think Hollywood Bowl is probably like appropriately dead because it is just a like you're sort of in an auditorium setting, and I just feel like those are always going to be a little weird. Like you're not going to dance in that way. When I'm in like a crowd, though, I do like when people are kind of, you don't have to be full on mosh pit, screaming, crowd surfing, whatever. But like I enjoy a crowd that's like enjoying the music because I like to enjoy the music when I'm listening to a concert, and it's a little awkward if like it's like I'm like bobbing my head and dancing around and everyone's just like standing there. It's like that's a little awkward. So I enjoy a little lively crowd, but there are ways where a crowd can be doing too much. So it's like it kind of cuts both ways, I suppose. But
yeah. I think a fun in between that I want to try and do more, and you let me know. It's not a concert by any means, but like comedy performances, right? I know we went to like Kev on Stage recently, and that's a live crowd that is inherently more rowdy because that's like the point is to make the crowd is to get a literal response from the crowd from your performance kind of thing. Just crowd work even, you know what I mean? Like it, I totally want to see some more. There's like a couple, social media comedians who have some tour dates coming up and stuff like that. I might try and look and see if we could cop tickets for. I think something like that could also be a fun thing that starts to, again, exposure therapy me into these like bigger crowds and rowdier events at these venues, and not just be, okay, everyone, time to sit down, quiet. Okay, they're about to perform. I'm not saying I need that, but I do. I tend that way, and so I want to find some things that are a little bit more high energy.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Kev on Stage performance. It's funny. I don't think we talked about that on this show either. Yeah, it was really fun. I think they did a great job. I like and mostly consume Kev on Stage's stuff through social media. But I know he has like a million other things. Like he has like his own show, and like his sets are on Tubi and stuff, and like he does like a million pieces of content. But like a lot of people, I'm like, I follow you on the one platform, and then like but it was cool seeing his stuff live. I think he did a good job, and it's interesting because that tour, specifically the Bald Brothers one, is like much more improvised comedy. Like it's not improv because improv is like scenarios, but it's just like, hey, you're gonna give us the topics and then we're gonna like kind of make the jokes from there, like versus like when you go on a comedy tour normally the comedian comes up with a set and the set is basically the same show to show for the most part. This is like very different, which is cool. A quick back to the movie thing. It's not like the thing I don't like about people yelling at the movies, even when it's like, oh, but it's a nerd movie, they're supposed to cheer when Captain America. I think it's fine if you're in a theater and like you have a natural reaction to like the movie, like you cry or you scream or you like gasp. Like, I'm not mad if someone like goes and I hear them. I'm not like, oh, you're an asshole. But a movie is inherently like a quiet thing. Like the whole thing is silence is golden. Turn your shit off. Shut the fuck up. If your kid's crying, take them the fuck out. Like, it's a quiet activity. Like, that is undebatably a quiet activity. It's a quiet activity. So I don't like when people like cheer and clap, because like that's not a natural, like it might be like natural in some ways to be excited, like you see something you're excited. Clapping is not a natural reaction. Like, you choose to clap, you choose to cheer. I would like you to choose to shut up because I'm at a movie. Now, I get that will happen, and that's occupational hazard of going to see Avengers in theaters, and I'm willing to take that. But if I could have it my way, yeah, everyone would shut the fuck up about it, because it's like I'm at a movie. Like, to me, it gives, when you would watch movies in class, and there would be that one kid who's like, you're watching a comedy or something, and they're like, oh my God. It's like, fucking relax. It was not that funny. You would not be laughing like this if you're at, to me, if it's not something you would do at home watching a movie on your laptop, you should not be doing it in the theater. That's my take. I would not be clapping on my laptop alone. Man. Like, I might cry on my laptop alone. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be mad if someone's crying at a sad movie. That's like part of you're watching a movie with a bunch of other people. But that's why I have that take.
I think that's why holistically I'm with you. I do think that there are some key Marvel moments that are the exception to the rule kind of thing. Like when Spider-Man first flips on scene and he lands and he took Cap's shield, like the crowd went crazy. That's a crazy moment because it's like they brought Spider-Man into this thing that they've been building for years at this point. When the train goes by and then it reveals that Cap's there and it's like, oh my God, he's in his new outfit. He's got this Wakanda shield on and everything. It's like, that's sick. Or like, when he catches Thor's hammer and reveals that he's using Mjolnir, it's like that's exciting. That elicits a natural glee that comes out in theaters.
Here's a question:
I am okay with that.
Are you hooting and holler? Did you hoot and holler when you had these moments happen?
I am inherently, I think, quieter hooter and hollerer, but I would like, let's go, like, yeah, fuck yeah, Cat Spider-Man. Oh.
But did you?
Yeah. I'm not gonna like stand up and applaud and scream and everything like that, but I'm gonna give like a nice like fist, like, oh, let's go. Like, that's dope. It gives you this energy. I
feel like you're probably not who I have beef with, because I think you're just kind of having like
that's
quiet,
probably true.
Like
sure.
Like,
sure.
And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's awesome, but like, I don't think that moment's more awesome because some guy said, oh yeah. Like, I just more think that's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, what's that movie we just saw where holy cow, we need to talk about this for the show. Let me write this down. We need to do our Demon Slayer like spoiler stuff on the podcast, because like we never got, that's also something I don't think we got around to. But yeah, like that was a quick spoilers for some of the conversations we'll have on there. Like, we like went to see it in theaters because it got put in theaters, which was great. And like there was like some kids there, like, and like sometimes the kids would sometimes be like talking a little bit or being like, oh, like, well, we know. And that was a little different because I was more than like kind of talking over things, and their parents would be like, yo, shut the fuck up. But it's like, yeah, like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm trying to, I want to commune with the film. I don't need you communing with the film with me. Like, now you're there. Like, if I could have it my way, none of y'all would be in the theater and it would just be me with the screen. Like, dead ass. I don't want anyone near me. I would love to be alone. And often what I like to do, I'm trying to get away from everybody when I see a movie. Like, if I can. I'm hitting the 10 a.m. showing. I'm bringing my thermos of coffee and I'm hoping no bitches are in that bitch. Like, I'm trying to be by myself.
No.
I don't want, like, I go to the theater because I want good sound, good picture. I enjoy the snacks and the seats and stuff.
I do not go to the theater for good sound, good picture. I don't want to be with anybody else. Now we're really going on tangent.
I know we're off topic, but like, I don't want to be with anybody else. I mean, I'll be with you because I like you and we're going together and we get to watch the movie together. But that's it. Really, I don't want anybody else with me. Yeah.
I actively don't go to a movie theater because I think the sound and picture is that good. Because I don't think it's that good. I don't think the quality of sound and picture at theaters outweighs the convenience and comfort of watching a movie at home. We also are people who have a huge TV at home. So like, I don't know, me sitting 8 feet away from our 65-inch TV is the same as me sitting 200 feet away from like a 100-foot TV or whatever it is, right? Like to me, I'm not getting more out of a theater screen. I'll get more out of theater audio. I'll give you that. But I can also just buy a sound system at home and be just as good for me.
No, I'm
not saying not saying it's going to be as good. I'm saying I'm going to get the same quality of enjoyment out of listening on my home theater system as I would in a theater. I can pause and go use the bathroom. All of that. To me, the only reason to go to a theater is to be around the other people and share in those exciting big moments. Else, I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there at all. That's where I land. And I get, maybe I'm alone.
No. I'm there for like, I want big screen, big sound, and also to see it earlier. Also, obviously, is the other thing. Like the Spider-Man movie is coming out. It's like I'm gonna try to see that like midnight showing or the 7 p.m. the day before because I don't want any spoilers for that movie. And I know that when I go there, people are gonna be like hooting and hollering and like whatever. Like I want to see it more than I care about like so what. But yeah, like but I am the nerd curmudgeon. Like I don't want to hear I don't want to hear shit from you. I want to watch the movie. Bitch, I'm here to watch the movie.
We completely flip. I'm like that with concerts and you're like that with movie theater.
I don't want to experience you experiencing the movie.
That's so
I don't give a fuck that Dave in his Captain America shirt is like, yeah. It's like, that doesn't make me like it more. And I think it takes me out of it a little bit because now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm hearing Dave. Like, it doesn't add to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Man. So what we need is to watch
but that's a very
concert.
Like, unpopular take. I understand. They're like, no, I like when people were having fun.
I don't think it's that unpopular. I've
talked to other nerds and they're all like, no, I clap when I see Cap because I love him. I'm like, bitch, we're old. Like,
I think it's a very down the middle.
I get that. It's like, yeah, but that's my thing. And it's also so specific to just nerd movies. It's like, I don't think when people saw Inception, there's amazing things that happen in Inception. I don't feel like people were like, woo! Like, it's like, cause it's like, I don't know. Like, it just.
Because you don't have that history there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if you go see the Fast and Furious 10 Part 2 or whatever, people are going to be hooting and hollering there. You know what I mean? And it's just because you have this legacy of movies that you're building up to these bigger moments, and the crowd has that same energy of investment into this property.
I also kind of feel like, okay, now this is getting into an even hotter take. Yeah. Sometimes I kind of feel like some of y'all bitches do that shit for attention. Whoop, I said it. When we saw the Matrix of the Costume, and that one thing happened and someone went, woo! Like, that felt like kind of like, I don't know. It felt a little weird. It felt a little unnatural to me. And that film experience was incredible. So I'm not saying it wasn't incredible.
Yeah.
But I felt like that person felt like, why is no one getting excited? I'm going to get the party started. And it's like, and he was alone. And I was like, all right, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you kind of want to be part of something, but like, it's not about you. It's about the movie. Like, I don't know. That's like, again, another hard take. I don't think it's everyone doing that is trying to get attention, but sometimes I feel like
I agree.
You're trying to start a little something.
Yeah.
You're not a trendsetter, baby. You're simply a man.
Yeah, that Matrix costume guy, he was alone for good reason.
And I felt like he was just, and again, I don't mind, like, I understand that, like, if you don't want people to get in your way, stay at home. Yeah, no, totally. But I'm not going to stay at home, but I am going to be quietly like, I wish you weren't here. Like, that's my thing. But I want big picture, big sound. So I'm going to roll the dice, and there might be, someone being like, Spider-Man changed my life. And I'm like, all right, man, like,
yeah.
All right.
We just got to move the couch closer to the TV. I'm good. Put my AirPod Maxes on and have the Apple TV give me the stereo sound.
It's funny that these ended up being like, these topics got merged, but it's kind of like back to I like the and it's also funny because we might get into this when if we end up ever doing my iPad Renaissance episode that I want to do. We'll see if I can stick to the iPad and these other things. Just like having devices for certain things and trying to separate stuff. Being at the theater, I never, ever check my phone when I'm in the movie theater. Maybe for a time, or if something like I'm worried about something or someone's sick or something. I don't know. Like, there's maybe some exceptions, but I'm never I'm totally immersed in the moment of the film. And you can do that at home too, but it is different because like while it's nice to be able to pause the movie to use the bathroom, it also gives me an option to get out of the moment. I'm in there. It's like I'm in the theater, like totally immersed when I'm in there.
Nah, that's you. That's user error. That's falls squarely on.
You're full of shit because I see you pull out your fucking phone when we're watching a movie on the couch all the time.
Yeah, but I'm not ever like, oh, I need to go to a theater in order to not look at my phone. If I'm enjoying a movie, I can just not look at my phone. I only pull out my phone when I'm getting bored.
I feel like, but have you pulled out your phone at a movie theater?
No.
I feel like it just hits different. It hits different. It's a different. You're like signed up to be in it, and you're in it in a way that's just like more immersive. I feel like it's like a more.
I mean, inherently yes, but it is. I am not on my phone out of being immersed. It's out of respect for other moviegoers. It's the same reason why I'm not hooting and hollering very loudly at anything or laughing out loud and belly laughing at like funny moments. It's like, no, it's just out of respect for everyone else. We live in a society. We're in this room together. We're experiencing this art together. I'm going to try to be mindful so that you can experience the art as naturally and as uninterruptedly as I can make it, you know?
Yeah. But I feel like it just is more like intense to me because it's like, yeah, like I can't pause it to go to the bathroom. So it's like, you better fucking piss before and then you just hold it. Like, it's like, that's like, I know it sounds like a worse experience, but it means that you're more committed. It's like more intense. So that's the thing I like about the crazy. The
you really do feel the exact same way about just opposite things. That's crazy.
Yes. And that's what we learned today on this episode of Games and Not Games. All right. I think that firmly brings us to Poll of the Show.
Poll of the show.
Last week we asked your thoughts on if you thought early access games should be considered 4 awards the year they release in early access, and also the last time you moved. Isaiah, what did the people say?
You're not going to believe this.
I didn't believe it when I looked at it earlier. I didn't believe it.
60% of the people agree with me in that, yes, the game should be considered the year it enters early access. 40% said no. Sometimes the community rallies behind an individual that makes just a little bit more sense than the argument put against it, you know? And today was one of those days. This was one of those times where the Zay crowd came through, baby.
We need to come up with different names for like the sub fandoms.
Yeah.
Zabies or something.
And then when it comes to moving, we asked, when was the last time you moved? 60% of the people said they moved within the last 1 to 3 years.
Squad, those are our people.
Yeah. We had a 20% who have just been in the same place for 10 plus years, and then 20% who moved within the last year. So you're either somewhere for a very long time, or you just got done moving, or are literally just got done moving. Like, it is a pretty solid base we have here. And then we asked for the people who last moved, when you did last move, did you hire professional help? 40% said yeah, which is a little bit surprising. I in my head, I feel like movers is not a common thing.
See, y'all ain't as broke as you pretend to be. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like I feel like moving in my head, having movers is like flying first class.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, it's the same shit.
Yeah, because I want that now. Like, going forward, I want that.
Well, yeah, I want it, but do I want to pay for it? I don't. But I will. This time, again, I don't want to jinx anything, but here are my 2 hopes. The things I'm putting out into the universe to like make it come true. Universe is our next place is a place we own, and it's a place that we hire movers for. Now, if someone could just give us $1 million, we could make both those things happen easy. Easy work. We'll get this thing wrapped up in a couple of months, baby. Like,
that'd be great.
So, if anyone wants to send that $1 million our way, it could just be split between the 2 of us. You don't have to give it 1 each. I'm not asking for a lot. My Venmo, you know my Venmo, you know my PayPal. Yeah, hit my line.
You want $1 million of your friends? Just give $1 to us. We can make it happen.
If we just get a bunch more friends. But we'll see if that can happen, because I would love to do that.
That would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But the reason I compared it to First Class is because everyone knows it's better. No one wouldn't enjoy, the experience is inherently enjoyable, but it's so hard to look at how much more you have to pay and say, I want to pay that instead of using that money on literally anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the tough part.
Yeah. It's a tough justification for
But
for
I want to
me and a lot
join
of
the
folks.
40. I want to join the minority. I want to be in the 40 that has the help and the 20 that has been there for 10 plus years. That's my dream.
Yeah, facts.
We'll see. What are we asking people this week?
This week we're going to be asking folks, for those that played it, what'd you think of Resident Evil 9 Requiem? For those that didn't, do you plan on playing it? And then what was the first and last concerts you've been to? So little callbacks to today's episode. Curious to know how our community lands and what you guys' experiences are.
Nice. And that is it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox@gamesandnotgames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you enjoy the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Cinco diamantes.
And if you're an audio listener, remember that you can get the video version over on YouTube at Games and Not Games. If you like the video, be sure to leave us a like and a comment, as it helps us get the show in front of more people. Be sure to give us a follow on social media. We're pretty much everywhere at Games and Not Games. That's mainly Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitch, and Backlogged. And until next time, gang. Peace.